And our first speaker is on his way down to Air America Radio, where he's going to be broadcasting to everyone who can hear Air America on the internet or otherwise what's transpiring in the movement to remove Bush from office in 2007. We may actually take a little break after Dave Swanson speaks. We're going to see how it goes. But I want everyone to come up front and listen up. I want to introduce Dave Swanson, who is the genius behind a number of websites. One of them is called AfterDowningStreet.org. He's been single-mindedly dedicated to digging up dirt on the Bush regime over the last several years and has made a huge contribution to the fact that many people who are attending this conference this weekend are even here. And I want to welcome Dave up to speak, then he's going to rush out and take a cab downtown, and we're going to continue with more speakers. Dave Swanson.
Thank you, Deborah. It's great to be here, and it's an honor to speak at an event with a number of tremendous speakers who are going to be here shortly. And it's great to be back in New York. I haven't been here in a long time. I want to ask one question about New York because I heard Senator Hillary Clinton say something, and I'm wondering, is it true? Is it true that if you're from New York, you have to support the war? Can you be from New York and be for peace? I got up 2 o'clock this morning in Charlottesville, Virginia, Thomas Jefferson's town, the man whose greatest fear for our republic was elected despotism. Jefferson and Madison and Mason and the others who drafted the most influential constitution the world has seen created a system of elections, but devoted much more attention and many more words to creating a system for maintaining democracy between elections. They gave this essential power to the House of Representatives as the branch most subject to popular control, and they called this power impeachment. The founders knew that democracy could only be maintained through eternal vigilance. But we, or perhaps it's more General Electric and Disney than but we have substituted for eternal vigilance, eternal election season. I don't know if the founders could have imagined the way in which elections are killing our democracy, but they certainly imagined that the loss of the power of impeachment would mean a return to the tyranny of King George. No one can say exactly how long we have in this window of opportunity to get impeachment up and running before it's effectively blocked by the November 08 election. Is it too late already? Do we have 2 months, 3 months, 4 months? Wiser minds than mine seem inclined to think we may have until the end of April or so. That does not mean we shouldn't keep pushing until January 09 if we have to, but it does mean that if you or your organization are on the edge of accepting the need for impeachment, you should bear in mind that it will be much more helpful for you to make that decision right now than later this year or next year. 17 Republican Congress members took a teeny tiny step forward against the war on Friday. They did that because Republican voters are turning against Bush and Cheney. Republicans should think very hard about whether they, as Republicans, want future Democratic presidents to have the ability to rewrite laws with signing statements and to have the ability to spy on them with no legal oversight. I know that libertarians don't want that. Congressman Ron Paul says that Bush should be impeached, but Congressman Paul has not yet found the nerve to do anything about it. What if you're a Green Party member or a backer of another party or no party? Well, the Green Party publicly stands for impeachment. Impeachment is not a way to empower a party. It's a way to empower the American people and the first branch of our government, the Congress. But the fact is that if the Democratic Party takes a stand for impeachment, it will gain the respect and support of Americans and of people all over the world, and it will be rewarded. When the Democrats failed to impeach for Iran-Contra, thinking they could thereby win elections, they lost elections and put George Bush the first in office and have been suffering from it ever since. Americans do not vote for cowardice. They voted for Democrats post-Nixon, not post-Reagan. The current crop of Democrats has shown that it will not act to end the war without some kind of kickstart, something to strengthen the hand of opponents of Bush and Cheney. Impeachment is one thing that might shift the balance. A labor union member and peace activist sent me an email yesterday that said, if the peace movement wants to succeed, we can't fail to employ the threat of impeachment any more than a union can promise never to go on strike. Right now, unions are lobbying hard to pass the Employee Free Choice Act, which would restore the right to effectively organize unions in this country. Cheney has promised to have Bush veto it. It is time for unions to threaten a strike, and in politics, a strike is called impeachment. Environmental organizations are concerned that we only have so many years to reverse our energy policy if we are going to reverse global warming. Any bills to do that will be vetoed or signing statements in. You cannot tell me that you care about global warming and that you're willing to sit on your hands for 2 years, because impeachment is not your focus. It had better become your focus, or the rest of us are going to learn about global warming the hard way. Pick an issue, any issue, and a compelling case can be made that your priority for the next few months should be impeachment. Failing to pursue impeachment will mean 2 more years of war, detention, torture, and abuse, and the defunding of every useful public project. And the results of this will last well beyond the end of those 2 years. To recognize the gravity of the impeachable offenses that Cheney and Bush have committed and yet not work to end them because your focus is elsewhere is 9 times out of 10 in this moment to lose your focus. A citizen who does not work for impeachment when it is merited is a neighbor who watches a murder out the window and does not intervene. We're all busy. We all have vitally important missions. We're all stretched thin. But that's a murder outside the window. You wouldn't watch and do nothing. But the Bush administration is killing hundreds of thousands of people every year by acts of commission and omission. People of Iraq, people of Africa, people of New Orleans, people of the world. And we are establishing the precedent that will allow future presidents to do the same and worse. Impeachment is the nonviolent answer to this crisis. We should feel no animosity toward any human being, and we should condone no act of violence. But we should act with deliberateness and determination to restore the rule of law and hold accountable those who place themselves above it. We should make the motto of the state of Virginia our own. Sic semper tyranni, thus always to tyrants. Thank you.